Yo guys, what's up? So I've been testing leveling paths for Demon Hunter for season 28, and what I've come up with is the best thing for a quick season start without a necro and without a cache at all. I don't want to pretend like I'll be breaking anyone's minds with my god tier strats that have never been seen before, but I personally haven't seen any guides with this exact path. Shout out to Wiriho though for some inspiration for pointing out the obsession over 1 to 70 leveling instead of getting a good start as a whole with season journeys. Basically, every other guide I've seen from the Diablo community suggests starting off with a Necro, going until level 18 and then switching, or not switching. And that's a problem for me because I don't own Necro, and I don't really feel like buying it. If you do want a slightly faster experience, it is on sale right now, the Necro, for $10 instead of 15. But I still don't really want to do it. So I'm not going to buy it, and that's why I built this strat around not having a Necro or a Witch Doctor or any other class, and just running from Demon Hunter with Demon Hunter from the start. I also decided to go no cache because Demon Hunter sucks at leveling even with cache, because you can only roll 2 daggers, one impale damage, one fan of knives damage, and neither is really amazing. I did do a test and it was decent, and I think I got to 70 in 1 hour with cache. But I've been able to get 1 to 70 in an hour and 40 minutes or so without, and in the actual season it will be faster. So I don't mind spending an extra 30 minutes or so to save the cache for sacrificing later on. So if you want to use a different class other than Demon Hunter, it should actually be easier because Demon Hunter is pretty much the worst when it comes to leveling. All right, so to start off, the thought process behind this leveling path is that you want to do everything you can to set yourself up for after level 70, not just getting to 70, so that you can keep things running smoothly into the real grind. So rather than just having a single level 70 weapon when you hit 70, or a couple pieces of level 70 rares, as is typical without a cache, you can be pretty much equipped fully in 70 rares, as well as having objectives complete. So the idea is we're going to complete as much of the season journey as possible while leveling so that we save time doing that later. It also works out nicely because it can actually be faster to do certain things before 70 when you have big power spikes from new weapons and armor at level 18, and once you get enough mats to craft more. The typical run without cache I've been seeing has you run Act 2 bounties on T1, and that is to get 1 death breath so that you can upgrade your blacksmith to level 12, because that costs rank 11, I believe, costs a death breath. But the problem with running that single set of bounties is you won't have enough yellow veiled crystals to actually capitalize on the power that altar unlock gives you, which is to craft as many 70 items as you want. So we're going to fix that in a few ways. Firstly, we're going to run all bounties while leveling. This knocks out the annoying part of trying to run through bounties in crappy 70 rares and gets us a lot of gear and mats through an abundance of chests and goblins we'll see while we complete the bounties. All right, so before I jump into this, I'm just going to put this on screen so you can pause and screenshot and do whatever you want. This is the list of steps, more or less, that you will take to get to the completion of your Chapter 4 journey. Don't stress too much if you don't have the bosses as bounties, or if you can't craft any of this stuff. It won't hold you back much, even if you do it at 70. It's basically all in the town, and it doesn't take, most of the stuff doesn't take long. At that point, once you hit 70, you have completed most of Journey Chapter 1, 2, and 3. All you need to do is Nephilim Rift on T1, and this will complete each step for Chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. Which are all complete a Nephilim Rift on a different difficulty. Once you've done that Nephilim Rift, you will have access to your Chapter 2 and your Chapter 3 pieces, which is 4 pieces in total, which will give you your 4-piece, which I do suggest using with Hungering Arrow or Bolas, usually cold Hungering Arrows, the Pierce increased damage one, or Imminent Doom, the fire bolas. Once you have that on and equipped, you would go kill Zoltun Kulle and Rakanoth on Master, and roll any amount of blood shards with Kadala if you hadn't already. And after that, you'll probably be able to struggle through, at least I was able to struggle through all the rest of the Chapter 4 objectives, starting with the T4 Key Wardens and then Skeleton King and Rakanoth. You have enough toughness easily for them. It just takes quite some time because you won't have much damage. Then once you've done that, you might need to get better gear or roll some stats before you can time a GR20, but that won't take too long. You can do it in rares pretty well, as long as you have the 4 set pieces plus the rares. So that's the plan. It's pretty simple, and now I'm going to run through some steps and intersperse clips of the run when I did it, including my extremely lucky portions. Okay, so here we are at the start. I do have a live split counter in the bottom corner. I think I got a ZK bounty on my first reset, or maybe I just got it to begin with. I got pretty lucky, I think. So the first thing that I'm going to go over is it's a T1 game. We took our followers' weapons and we disenchanted them. Now we're going to where the altar is. You can see there is no altar here because this is not PTR or season. So I'm faking interacting with it. And now I'm going to go to pre-walk the bounties. And this is something that is not usually done. So normally you would just teleport here and then teleport away. But because we're not playing Necro, this is something we have to do. Because when you walk near an enemy, their level will be set to yours. So they're all level 1 right now. T1 level 1, which means like 100 or so HP on the big guys, maybe 200 on the elites, and then the small guys are like 30 HP. If we came back here at level 4 or something, they would be like 600 HP, like even for the small ones. So you want to run through and make sure everything's on that low HP, and then you have to do this for every bounty so that it's actually doable. Necro is able to get away without doing this because they're busted. So we're literally just going to run through here. Let me play faster. So this is another thing. Rather, you're not just running through. On certain bounties, there's an interact like this. Specifically this one, it's kind of hard to do, and you cannot do this on hardcore, but I wouldn't suggest this strat on hardcore anyway. You can interact with the guards, and you're not interrupted by attacks, so you can manage to free these guards. It says free 3, but for some reason you have to free 4. So you free these 4, and that'll spawn. I just barely did it in time. That'll spawn the boss. So now the boss will be snapshotted as well. So he'll be lower level. And there's a couple ones like that. That's like interact with his chest, or talk with the grave robbers, or other things like that. And just always like click that step, and then just it'll spawn the mobs, and then you can just die, and it doesn't matter. And then for ones like these where it's like a tunnel, don't do that. Don't shoot this thing. Don't get to level 2. I'm an idiot. I was trying to break stuff so I had the move speed bonus, and I just leveled up. I'm stupid. But when you have 2 levels, you want to go all the way to the 2nd level. You can't just walk through the 1st level. You also have to go to the 2nd level to get everything snapshotted. Otherwise, it won't happen. Like you will just break it, and you'll have to start over. You'll have to like delete your character and start over. I did open this on my first time, this chest here. I would suggest waiting until you're like higher than this. I wouldn't open a lot of these chests. Sometimes if you open it, you can get a nice yellow bow that helps you kill Zoltun Kulle faster, or Maghda, whichever one you have. But it's not really worth it because you'll see in a second, possibly. I try to equip it and there's really no stats of benefit on them. Like regenerates 3 life per second. That's pointless. And the one that I just took off was regenerates 2 life per second. Like that's a complete waste of an item. So if it's a bow like that, see, that's lucky. And it honestly, it's not that lucky. I usually do get one, and it is a pretty big upgrade. You can see 77%. But it is a gamble. You could kill Zoltun Kulle without it, especially if you're level 1. It would be even easier. And then when you come back through here and actually kill stuff and loot this, you'll be a higher level. So it might be more valuable then. Although, as I say that, I'm not sure if chests are snapshotted. I'm pretty sure they're not. But what if they aren't? And in the season, it screws you over. That's not my fault. I mean, it's partially my fault, but sorry. This one, super easy, to be honest. Alcarnis, like, they have these mobs, like, sacrifice themselves, so this just goes up on its own. You could see it goes up to, like, 6 or 7. You just have to get to smash. You don't really need to even get next to him. I was just trying to use him to kill me faster, and it didn't really work. He kills really slow. Sorry, I don't know what's bugging here. This one, super easy. Anything on Temple of Firstborn with kills is super easy because there's tons of beetles everywhere. So that's it. I did the run through. That was a really quick one. It took me about 5 minutes because the first minute was not actually doing the run. It was like grabbing follower stuff. So I'm going to go in here with a nice blue bow at level 2. This is very doable. If you're level 3, it is still doable, even with the white weapon, although it'll be a little rough until you get the golems killed. If you're level 4, you messed up. You probably will not have much of a chance. If you're really good at dodging and you're really patient, it'll work, but it's definitely not fast. That'll probably be like a 5-minute kill or something. But yeah, so and then once you have Impale, I think you have Impale at level 2, that speeds you up a little bit too. So now we actually do the bounties that we did the whole walkthrough for. And as you can see, their HP is like 36, 31, 400 for the yellow, which is really annoying because he's trapping me. But I think I managed to get out of here before time. But you don't need to kill all of these. I would suggest trying to keep your massacre up as much as possible, but don't worry if it falls off, because the goal here is really just to complete this bounty. 1 to 18 isn't really the fast point, because Torment 1 isn't a ton of XP, but it's definitely still relevant, so keep it up as much as you can, but don't worry if it's falling off. Okay, so here we are. That's my bounty done. There's the cache. Open it up, grab the stuff. You get 30 blood shards as well that you could spend now or whenever you want, but I personally just held on to them. Now that that's done, we are going to go to Ruins of Sescheron. We're going to drop the difficulty to hard at some point. In hardcore, you couldn't do this, but softcore, you can just lower difficulty in the menu. So drop that down to hard, and then we're just going to vault through here. You get vault at level 9, so that's why we don't do this before the bounties or something. Also, the bounties would be harder, but yeah. We're just going to run through here and try to keep our massacre up as much as possible and just get the cube, because we need the cube to be able to craft stuff later on. All right, so once you reach the cube, there you go, you can grab it. I didn't grab it because I'm not actually on the season. I already have it. Kill the stupid mobs that are stopping you. And now we aren't 18, but you probably would be 18, so you can probably skip this step. But if you for some reason aren't 18, you just come here to the Temple of Firstborn in Act 2, and you will just get massacre bonuses and get enough XP to get to 18. And now that we're 18, this is the time when gems first begin to drop in the game. So now we're going to go find... I'm also going to activate my Templar just for some extra... At level 20, he's going to give you some regen on your abilities. And he also heals you, so he's kind of nice. So I'm activating him now, and then I'm going to go do bounty bosses to find the 2 diamonds we need to upgrade to a flawless diamond. And the 5 bounties that you're seeing me check is Asmodan, Gom, Maghda there, Zoltun Kulle at the top, and then Skeleton King. I accidentally hovered Aranate. That's not a good bounty. Don't go that one. It's just Skeleton King on Act 1. And Asmodan happens to be a bounty, so I got Asmodan. And I believe I already got a diamond from some other chest on the way there in this run, so I just needed 1. Yeah, you can see I had a diamond there. I just needed 1 from Asmodan, so here's the kill. And we get 2 rubies and a diamond. So you might have to go kill another if you didn't get lucky like I did, but I got 2, so that's good for me. So now we go to Act 1. I skipped a step because it's confusing not being on season. I need to upgrade the diamond into the flawless diamond, which is just a little like triangle, like teardrop cut diamond. And then you would go over here and interact with the altar and grab the second on the right, which gives you level 70 crafted ability. Level 70 items. And now that I can craft that, I upgrade the blacksmith as far as I can, which is rank 11. He's rank 12 already because of not season. And then the highest thing on there would be, I believe, the Exalted Phantom Bow. Yeah, 275 damage, or the crossbow, 281.1 damage. So I go with the crossbow. It is slower attack speed. You can go the bow if you want. I'm fine with the crossbow though. And this inventory is just my I gem of eased half of these down so that I'd be able to test, because this is not on PTR, so I have no ability to use the actual altar buff. Okay, so now that we're at this, we can bump the difficulty back up from normal because we have power again, and now we can go T1. So now we're on T1. We're going to do Act 1 bounties because we did Act 2, and I'm just comfortable with Act 1. It's the one I've done the most because trying to get Ring of Royal Grand some seasons just takes forever. At the moment, I'm using mainly multi-shot, but it really doesn't matter. This is a very lucky moment for me because as I'm going to this bounty, I find a gem hoarder. You always want to kill these. You want to kill most goblins, but these are probably the most impactful in the leveling process, because there you see I just got an Imperial Diamond and an Imperial Ruby. Ruby is the one you want the most because you can put it in your weapon for damage, or you can put it in your helm for XP. So if you get 2, put it in both, but if you get 1, just put it in your helm. Unless you don't have a helm socket, and then pray for a helm socket. For boss killing, I do suggest that you have sentries down. You'll probably have them anyway because there's not much else to put, but sentries are really good, even custom engineering once that's unlocked, just for killing bosses, because you won't necessarily have a lot of single target. So here my bounty's done, open the cache, and I got a Ring of Royal. Perfect for cubing later. I'm just gonna put that in the cache, even though obviously I don't actually need it. After that, we are on to the Battlefields of Eternity, where we are going to look for some white armor. All these, you see these piles of weapons and armor, you interact with them and they will drop white items for you. And we need about 11 to 12. Sometimes you could get lucky, it could be less. I would just go with it. If you currently have 100 whites, you could probably get away with 11. That'll give you another 100. But if you're under 100, I would just go 12, 13. Because you absolutely need 200. Because you're going to get rid of 100, and then you'll have 100 white, 100 blue, 100 yellow. You need an equal amount of everything. I think I got 11. Yeah, I got 93. So now that we've done that, we should have 200, 100, and effectively 0 yellows. So we're going to I take this off my follower because I happen to put yellows on him, but you're just going to take your yellow weapon that you don't need anyway, and just throw that into the cube because you have to sacrifice 1 yellow. So you're going to go to plant page 7 out of 10, fill, and then throw in a yellow item. And that will transmute 100 whites into 100 yellows. So now that you have that, you should have 100, 100, 100, and then you can craft this many pieces. That is 6 pieces I just grabbed. You could probably craft more. Like it could be 7 if you have enough. It just depends on if you got lucky or not. And I do have a socket in the helm. You might not have a socket in the helm. You might not have sockets in the chest or the legs. If you do have enough to craft 7, you could craft 6 instead, and then you would have the ability to reroll each one once. No, sorry, you'd be able to reroll 5 of them once. So if you get really bad, the first 6 you craft are really bad, you could go ahead and not craft a 7th and fix it, because often you'll get armor that has like no main stat, and if you don't have dex on it, it's not even worth putting on, basically. I mean, if it makes you tough, you're not going to level through toughness, so we don't care about that. But if you get lucky and get good rolls, then good for you. I then put diamonds in my gear because we're stacked for damage, so just toughness is king here, at least in the beginning. Now we're going to set the difficulty to T6, and we have act bounties for 3, 4, and 5 left for the seasonal journey. So we're just going to go through every single one of those, and while we're doing that, we're going to look at the list of, is there a Belial, is there a Gom, and if we're over 60, is there an Urzael, and is there a Queen Aranea? The 60 ones are kind of unlikely. Depends on... Actually, the Queen Aranea is not even possible if you start Act 1. But the Urzael is possible. I think I did Act 5 last, so it would have been possible for me, but I think it wasn't a bounty. Not a big deal if you don't have them. Just keep going on. And then you also want to see if you get a legendary that drops, you could... Like, I already got the Rourke, but if you get one, you can just go ahead and get rid of that into your Kanai's cube if you want. You can equip your follower with your own stuff. Not really important. You can basically do that. 70. Craft an Imperial Gem. Very unlikely you'll be able to do that until 61. Transmog an item you could do. Not really important. You could do that easily the second you hit 70. In town. Enchant an item, enchant a weapon to have a socket. Those are very easy to do. And then that's it. That's all you're going to do before 70. That's all you can do before 70. And at this point on season, you may be, I'd say, like 64, 65, because of the extra XP from the massacre bonuses. They'll be longer and they'll be double what they are currently. So I'm just going to finish it out in Temple of the Firstborn level 1. And that takes me 1 hour, and I'm probably going to get it at the end of the streak. So 1 hour 45. Just have to let the streak fall off. And that's it. So I hope that you find this helpful, and I hope that you use it for the coming season and have fun. And if you're not a Demon Hunter, good for you, because Demon Hunter sucks. But once we're 70, we're the best. Thanks for watching.